Hi everyone, it's Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat. Got a couple of cards that I've made using the Stampin' Up! Scenic Pumpkin Patch. Ooh, need my teeth in to say that. Stamp set from Stampin' Up! And I also wanted to kind of use up some scraps. So I thought I'd share this as a video. I had this idea in my head. It came out really well. I actually ended up with 2 cards that I wasn't expecting. But yeah, I've got these really thin kind of strips of cardstock. They're just plain white. There are a few colours in there, but I don't end up using the coloured ones. And I decided to just colour them using my Pro Markers in a range of autumnal colours, shall we say. So there's pinks and creams and beige and orange and brown in there. And it's a really good way of just colouring bits and scraps of cardstock. But the idea that I had in my head was actually to have a stripy circle die cut. So I did start with the die cut, laying it down so I get a sense of the size. And then I'm just using these little strips, gluing them down with Pritt Stick, and now I'm going to die cut it out. So it's really simple little technique for just adding a little bit of interest to cards. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to use the bit that's left and also use that as well. So I do end up with 2 cards. So at this point, I thought I was going to use cream to do some kind of other stamping, but I didn't end up using that. I did end up using more scraps of the white, just slightly bigger pieces, in order to stamp out all my little pumpkins. Now, I was very kindly gifted this stamp set by my husband and daughter at my birthday. Total surprise to me. Didn't pick it. Is it something I would have picked? Probably not. I love it. It's not that I don't love it. It's just that why would I have pumpkins? I don't really make Halloween cards, but actually it's a really cute set for making little hello and thinking of you kind of cards as well, that obviously you're going to send out in the autumn time. So it comes with lots of different pumpkins in different sizes, different shapes, and then it comes with the little leafy bits that you put on the top. So I stamped them out in a range of different orange colours, and now I'm just going to fussy cut. Again, had I chosen the stamp set, probably would have bought the coordinating dies, if indeed there are some. I don't know if there are some or not. Not sure. But my daughter really kindly went and just bought me some crafting supplies for my birthday from her and my dad. Her dad, not my dad, my husband. So yeah, really, really cute little stamp set. And both me and my daughter love like Halloween decor. I'm not one for decorating necessarily for the season because that's expensive. Plus you have to store it all for the rest of the year, and yeah, it's a bit more faff than I can be bothered with. But I do think it's a really cute idea, and we love going and looking at various Halloweeny bits when we're in the shops. And we have an urge to do these things. I think she does have a pumpkin, so she does put that out, a fabric pumpkin. So I am now deciding how I'm going to arrange these. So I've already decided on using that crumb cake for the one that's on the top left hand side with the circle, and I'm going to keep it fairly clean and simple for that one. And then this one, I decided to add a couple of layers of the pale green cardstock. I think it's soft seafoam, but apologies if it's not. It's something like that. It's cardstock I've had in my stash for a while, so I'm not entirely sure of the names of them all anymore. And then I went and grabbed these little die cuts, and these are die cuts that I've cut from scraps previously. So I've got these little leaf die cuts, and I've got a couple of gold ones and a white one that I've added to this one. And I kind of created like a little window card, but it's not going to be a window because it is going to have the panel behind it. This one, I decided to add in the little black die cut leaves just to add that little bit of contrast. As I say, I've kept it really quite, for me, clean and simple. It's not normal that I would keep things so clean and simple. So I'm still deciding what to do. And at this point, I'm trying to work out what sentiment I want to use. And I pull out originally, I think it's a visible image stamp set, but I decided that the sentiment's too big for these little images. But what I have done is pop that into the basket to be used some point soon. And then I found this little Concord and Knife stamp set. Was originally going to go with a little wavy sentiment, but I then decided no, I would just go with really, really tiny little sentiments. So one says hello, one says thinking of you. Now I stamped them both twice, and the reason for that is sometimes I mess up at this point, so it's just easier if I've already got it stamped out ready, just in case I mess up. And I do sort of change my mind because I kind of cut this one down and then I cut it down too much, so then I end up using a different one. So it is always wise, especially when you're only using scraps anyway and it's tiny, to just stamp a couple just in case. I wanted to mount them on this sort of, I think it's Calypso Coral scrap of cardstock, just to give them a little bit of a mat. And again, I found in the stash on my little, I have like a little plate that I put random stuff on that's just left over, and I found this little bow that I previously had made and a little bit of the thread that was left. I just created a nest for the other one. So for one of them it's got a little thread bow, which is really lacking in bulk, so it's quite a flat card. Now this is where I'm sort of fiddling. And there are far easier ways to do this, but I was just determined to use up as many of those little scrap thin pieces of cardstock as possible. And I really wanted to raise up this panel so that it was a little bit of dimension between it and the cardstock that was going behind it. There isn't much, but just a little bit. And I didn't want it to just be at the edges, because what would happen then is that it might sag in the middle. So I do end up faffing for quite some time, creating these little strips, and just stacking them a couple deep, and it just gives that little bit of dimension between the top layer and then the bottom layer. And now I decide that I want to ink the inside of this card, and I think it's pistachio pudding is the ink I use, so it's quite a pale green. And I splatter, and then I realise that, oh my word, I've now splattered on the other card, but it was fine. It was so pale it didn't matter. And I added a little bit of shimmery ink too. So it just gives a little bit of pattern and a little bit of difference to that background that's through the die cut, but I think it's really cute. I added some gems to this one, which are sort of gold and sparkly, 3 different sizes of gems. And then I needed a card base for it, so I just created one out of white, thick, heavyweight cardstock, top folding, and added my front onto the front, which is pretty much the same size. And then this craft one, even though you could write on it absolutely fine, I did decide to add a little panel of white and then added some black gems to go with those black leaves to this one. Kept it dead simple. So there you go. Used up some scraps, made my own kind of patterned paper for die cutting, and used those really cute little pumpkin stamp sets to do something other than Halloween, which is fun. I mean, they're quite an earthy looking. They aren't Halloween as necessarily. They are definitely sort of like autumn feel to them. So I hope you enjoyed this little card making session that I had. I certainly enjoyed putting it together. I think that's my favourite one. I think the one that's kept as simple as possible, just with those little stamped pumpkins and those black leaves for contrast against that stripy die cut. I think it looks fun. So please like and subscribe for more. And until next time, bye-bye.